Okay. Live on Facebook. Got a couple people here. Let me know you're here. Tell me you can hear me. Same on YouTube. If somebody looks like is tuned in on YouTube, please let me know if you can hear me. That's just a double check. That's just a double checking people can hear me. This is my grappling dummy. This grappling dummy is made from rolled up towel and a pillow and a hoodie facing backwards and then a hoodie facing forward. And then you tie it off so it kind of has a head and you put a gi on it. That's it. Very simple. Very easy to make gi. Very easy to make. The gi is probably not easy to make. It's a grip ski. It's very expensive. Very nice gi. Grappling dummy, pretty easy to make. All right. And we've got Xavier. Hey, man. Cool. I just got off a kids class with Xavier. So good to see you, buddy. Today I'm going to talk about my very favorite attack position in jiu-jitsu. And I welcome kids, adults, whoever to be here. Sorry, I just got to fix this one thing. Give me a little more of my grappling dummy. So yeah, again, if you want to make a grappling dummy at home, I took literally 2 towels, rolled them up. Those are the arms. Put a pillow in here, put a hoodie on it, put another hoodie on it facing the opposite direction. So that's why he's got a blue face. That's the other gi. That's the other hoodie facing that way. And then I put a gi on him. I could also put a belt on him if I want to do that, but this is just an upper body dummy. I'm going to use this upper body dummy to talk about one of my favorite attack positions in jiu-jitsu. And I'm going to also differentiate that position from one that's very close to it so that people are not confused about Kesagatame, which is a position I talk about sometimes, and Kuzuri Kesagatame, which is a word I never use. I always just call them both Kesa, but Kuzuri Kesagatame is different, and I keep misspelling it. I think it's Kuzure, Kuzuri Kesagatame. And why don't I jump in right now? So this is a top of side control week, and I'm talking about one of my favorite positions, which is Kesagatame. And that's a position that we would switch into from regular side mount. If I'm side mounted on somebody here, one of my jobs is to hold them down, prevent them from doing anything. They probably won't lay here like this. They'll be protecting their arms like that. But if I can pick up this arm and swing my leg underneath, it puts me in this position right here, where I've got, in this case, my arm underneath their armpit. So this arm isn't just headlocking them, but is underneath their arm. And I try to bring my knee really close to their shoulder, so this elbow is off the ground. And this position is called Kuzuri Kesagatame. Kuzuri Kesagatame is broken scarf hold, and that's the break is that regular scarf hold is usually just the head, just holding the head and the arm. When I first did jiu-jitsu, there was a guy in our class, Jim Fontanez, who continued training and has a black belt and trains under Formiga, who showed us this position. He said, hey, but what about this position? Can you get out of this position? And we were like pretty confident we could. We'd been doing jiu-jitsu for a couple of months, and we were starting to have a ton of success with our friends. And Jim came in, and we were there longer than him. So when he said, I got a position I bet you can't get out of, we were like, ah. And he put us in this position right here. This is like more of a headlock. This is Kesagatame, scarf hold. And sure enough, he was super heavy, and we could not escape. So not a worthless position at all, even though in jiu-jitsu, we learn a lot of headlock escapes. Someone puts you in a headlock, like in a fight. We have really good jiu-jitsu escapes. And for that reason, for early on and for many years in the beginning, and some people still underestimate what a headlock type position can be in terms of attack potential. This one's more common in jiu-jitsu, and I'll tell you why. Scarf hold, when I have somebody here, a good scarf hold is hard to get out of, as I said, with totally legitimate position and deserves credit, more credit than it gets in jiu-jitsu frequently. But the disadvantage to this position, where you'll see that my arm is around only the head and his arm over there is free, is technically what he has is an underhook on me, meaning his arm is under my armpit. That's the kind of thing that can help him, if I could grab his arm here, having this backdoor escape possibly to my back is an advantage for him, having the underhooking my armpit like that. So I think that's why in jiu-jitsu, we try to fight underhooks so much that I think that you'll see this position more often. Kazuri Kasagatami, broken scarf hold. But I'm going to talk today about submissions from both. So all that today and this week are going to be are not escapes, not position changes, but attacks. Ways to finish your opponent, make them say uncle from both Kazuri Kasagatami and Kasagatami. Okay. Because, like I said, you will see Kazuri Kasagatami more often in jiu-jitsu, and because it's easier to segue into. Again, like I said, if I'm in side mount in the person's arms, even if he's defending like this, it's easier for me to grab his shoulder right here and then pick this up and switch and find myself in Kazuri than to be doing this from side mount if his hands are defending. For me to almost give him my back by only grabbing his little head and hoping I pick up his arm, it's probably a mistake. So switching from side mount to Kazuri Kasa is going to be easier and more common. You want to pick this arm up, get your leg under it. Now, when we talk about Kazuri, that is detail number one that I want to discuss. The elbow battle. If this person puts their elbow on the floor, gets it back to the floor, instead of me picking it up and getting my leg under it, which is what I really want, then they have begun to escape. So battle number one is get under this elbow if you at all can, okay? Prevent them from getting their elbow back to the floor. He can keep me away. I want to be closer with my leg. He's keeping me away. And he's able to move around more and start to launch his escapes. So I want to take this space away. So B, lifting the elbow from here and putting your leg underneath. I'm not doing anything super special with my foot or anything like that. The leg just comes underneath, trying to make a connection between my thigh, my upper leg, and their shoulder blade underneath their shoulder. Okay? Because now this arm is not only not at his side, helping him, but it is hurting him by being alone and isolated up in this like floating space. Now people will put their hand against their chest like this to try and defend, like this. And the first attack series, which is going to be my focus tonight, is the attack series from Kazuri Kasagatami, broken scarf hold, where I'm under the arm here, not just around the head, is going to be attacking this arm right here. Because I've singled it out. I've got it alone and off the ground. Okay. The other thing just about my base here is you can't hang out with your feet up here because you'll get rolled back this way. You can't hang out with your feet here because there's a good chance that they'll bridge and put your head on the floor here. You do want your legs wide apart like this. Pick up their elbow, isolate their arm now. Now, here they are with their arm against their chest, probably both, trying to stay safe here. Okay, my attack series starts with the first submission, which is the bent arm lock from Kazuri Kasagatami or from this broken scarf hold. I'm going to grab their wrist. Now, don't presume you'll be stronger than somebody who's doing this. If I put like my thumb against my chest and I close my elbow, good luck pulling my wrist off my chest. You'll probably move my whole body before you'll be able to pull this away from me, right? So I'm not going to be able to pull this away from them. But what we want to do is peel it right along their chest and put it on the floor. But it's hard to do strength versus strength. It's hard for me to do against someone bigger than me. There's plenty of people who are bigger than me. If you're a big guy and you're bigger than most of your opponents, you can push with a bent arm, push their arm, but until you run into the guy who's bigger than you. So it's just not worth practicing the wrong thing when you could just so easily do the right thing. So the right thing is this. Get a C grip, C, on their wrist. Lean away just a little bit, and that'll help you get your arm straight. And now when you lean forward, you'll be pushing their now bent arm across your leg. Now I can pick my leg up and put this in here. So I don't just put my leg over it, halfway up my leg, which is, it's not just there. I actually take it with my hand and I put it in the crook of my knee. Okay. So here we are. I grab the wrist, stiff arm to push it off. That'll help you be stronger than most of your opponents. Now that I've got the arm isolated and bent in an L shape, I'm going to put it under my leg and stuff it in my knee pit. Put it right there. Put my leg back on the ground. And I'm going to do this. Slide this foot not over this leg, but behind this leg. Because now the person can't, I'll move this leg a little bit for you, can't straighten their arm because they run into my leg. If I put it here, it's definitely possible to figure four, but in the moment before you cross your legs, there's nothing stopping the arm from straightening here to get away from you. So we put it behind the leg is a nice good way to do that. If you decide you like to figure four, just clamp this down. You're clamping it to the floor, also prevents them from straightening it. But easy enough to just bring this back here. Now we've got a figure four. They can't extend their arm to escape, to get away from your bent arm lock. And now we can do this. I'm going to go from, now their wrist is under my knee, and I'm going to lift my hips, which are under their elbow. And what it does is an Americana. We're just using our legs for it. Wrist goes down because my knee goes down. Elbow comes up because my hips come up, and there's going to be the finish. You're not going to have to move too much, not as much even as I'm moving here with my dummy Orko. You're going to move very little, and they're going to tap out. So the bent arm series from Kazuri Kasagatama, which is what I'll call these three moves I'm going to show you tonight, starts with the bent arm lock. That's what I'm naming it after. So I'm grabbing the wrist, lean away, push down with your now straight arm, and their arm is in an L. Jam it in your knee, pit, and then bring your leg behind so they can't escape here. Now I'm going to go from being on my hip with my knee in the air to being on my knee with my hip in the air. This way. You're going to get an ow or a tap. They probably tap on your face. I've had that happen. They tapped on my face. Make sure they don't do it too mean. We're here. My legs are apart. I'm under the elbow. That's just positioning stuff. The attack series starts here. Grab the wrist with a C clamp, C grip. Lean away so that I can use my stiff arm, all the leverage of the structure of my body, to get the L-shaped arm out here. Now pick your leg up and jam this up into your knee pit. Not just across your leg down in the middle, but up here. Close this and slide your leg in behind, and it should be hard now to get away for them. I'm going to go from my hip to my knee. It's bringing their elbow up, that's my hip coming up, and their wrist down, right? So if you're miming, because you don't have a grappling dummy, let me move Orko here. And we can just be here. I'm holding the arm. I'm not holding a headlock where I only have the head. I'm sort of under the armpit holding the shoulder, and I'm here. Grab the wrist right in front of yourself. Lean away until your arm can be straight, and then push it across your leg. You're going to try and tuck it up in here. Again, I'm just solo drilling so you can with me. Stuff that in here. Cross your legs with the top one behind. And now you can go from your hip with your knee in the air, which you'll have to do because there's an arm here. The arm is the seesaw, the center of the seesaw. And you're going to go from your hip to your knee. And that's how you'll finish it. So I'm going to do it one more time, miming it, assuming some of you are doing it with me. Holding onto the shoulder under the armpit, grab the wrist, lean away, stiff arm, stuff it, cross my legs, and go from my hip to my knee to get that tap. All right. That's move 1 of 3 from this series from Broken Scarf Hold, otherwise known as Kazuri Kasagatame. I'm going to call it Kesa in class. You're going to hear, sometimes I'll say just Kesa. And I do mean either scarf hold or broken scarf hold. I use one term for both. I probably shouldn't. I should use my proper Japanese for you all the time. But I'll use it today in class so that you know it. Kazuri Kasagatame, broken scarf hold. Not just the head, but the head and arm. Here I am. Now, move 2 for the bent arm lock series from Kazuri Kasagatame or broken scarf hold. Starts the same. In fact, it's not a web of moves. It's sort of a chain of moves. One A leads to B, leads to C. Grab the wrist, lean away, stiff arm. I lean. I try to put the bent arm in here. I goof. They're strong, or they somehow defeat the figure four I'm trying to put in place, or they do it early, and they get their arm straight. And from here, bending someone's arm, you're not going to be able to do it. If you peel it out, but they straighten it, you're not going to bend it again. There is no bending someone's arm again once they go, ugh, and they extend away. But of course, a straight arm is a risk, of an arm bar. And this is how to finish the arm bar, that you will feel like, man, he straightened his arm. There's got to be an arm bar here. And there is. So we're going to step over the hand, and then I'm going to put my inner thighs, all about my inner thighs on this move. I'm I'm going to step over this straight arm and put my inner thigh on the wrist. This inner thigh, which should have been from the beginning under the shoulder, so that's where my inner thigh is now. I don't want it to be under the shoulder because if I push this down, we bend that way. That's okay. Where we don't bend, we do bend that way at the shoulder. So I don't want my fulcrum, my inner thigh under their shoulder. I want it under their elbow, which is where the arm would, break if I hyperextend it. So he straightens it. No problem. Inner thigh. Step over, inner thigh number 1. Inner thigh number 2, just move it down. You were under the shoulder. You want to be under the elbow. So this is good here. You would break the arm here. Like the arm does hyperextend here. But, there's nothing stopping them from sitting up to relieve the pain when you start pushing this down. You push this down and they come up. You notice that arm doesn't hyperextend. It just stays straight. Okay, so instead of allowing them to sit up in defense of their arm, we have to preclude that movement by push this down, they straighten, inner thigh 1, inner thigh 2, put your hand on their shoulder. Now, one thing about my inner thighs is this knee, if the opponent is not there at all, I can't break anyone's arm by bringing my knees together. Okay, very important that I stagger my knees enough that this one fits inside and underneath the one that's laying on the ground. So the one that's up in the air should close, and it should be like 2 puzzle pieces. I fit right inside that space, right onto the black mat underneath. Okay, so I'm here. I push this down. I went to do this, but they straightened. Okay, inner thigh number 1, inner thigh number 2, and again, not so that my knees would touch, but so that they will stagger, so they will break the arm, and hold the shoulder down with your hand. And this is just a thing that you're going to apply some weight to while you do this, which means that my hand and my knee that's floating both go down, and that's good for breaking the arm. But the other thing that you can do is raise your fulcrum, and that's the middle leg by doing this. Okay, so I'm going down with these two while I go up with this, and that gives me something that clearly bends the arm in a direction that it doesn't go. The hand and the leg go down, and the middle knee actually goes up. So the whole move with my dummy twice, and I'll do it without the dummy a few times so I'm repping with you, but imagine that you're repping with me or imagining repping with me. I'm going to rep it 5 times here. So get the wrist, lean away, straighten. I try to tuck it, but they straighten their arm to protect themselves from a bent arm lock. That leads to move number 2, which is the straight arm lock. 1. Now don't be under the shoulder, be under the elbow. Block the shoulder, and these 2 go down, these 2, and this goes up at the same time. Boop. Not quickly, of course, with your partner. You're going to apply pressure slowly so they have time to tap, but that's the move. One more time with my dummy. Lean away, so a stiff arm pushing this out, but boop, they straighten. I'll step over, bring my knee down to the fulcrum, which is the elbow, put my hand on the shoulder, and my hand and knee go down while my elbow side knee comes up. Boop, and that's the arm break. Let me show it to you without Orko here. I have not the headlock, but I actually have the arm on the far side, so I'm chest to chest. Pick up the elbow, and I get a good broken scarf hold, Kazuri Kasatami. I'm going to hold the wrist. Lean away so this arm is straight. Push it down. Try to jam in here, but they're going to straighten it. They straighten their arm. Okay. When they do that, I put a step over and put this down on top of it. Slide this one down underneath their elbow, and then these are the 3 movements. 1, 2, and 3 down. So these 2 go down. This one goes up. I'll do one more time here with you. Grab, stiff arm, put it in here. They straighten, step over, inner thigh, slide this inner thigh down to the elbow, block the shoulder, and these 2 go down while this one goes up. That's how to do move number 2 of 3 from the bent arm series from Kazuri Kasatami. Let's keep going and look at the 3rd move, which should answer the question. These are not comments. Let's see. Yeah. Hang on. Okay. 3rd move is going to be if they turn their arm the other way. So, of course, when I peeled his arm off his chest, he's here. If I peel it off and he straightens it, we've talked now about how to catch a bent arm, how to catch a straight arm. But what if he turns his hand over and he tries to get away this way? Turns it over this way. So a lot of us think of this as an Americana, right? This is a straight arm. and this has Kimura. Okay. The third move, though, just to spoil the ending before I begin, is not a Kimura. It's just the other move that I can hit when they turn their arm over. But I want you to be aware that there are sort of three positions their arms can be in. And this third position, this is how I handle when somebody, not Scarfold, broken Scarfold, so I have the arm, is not here, not bent out like this, not straight, but they actually turn it over. So they look like this. They've turned it down. So not up, not straight, but down. And it's actually a decent defense. I have control of their arm. They would lose if they don't do something. So they straighten when they see the straight arm coming. So they would lose if they don't do something. They don't go back to one because I'll hit one again. I'll hit that bent arm again. They bend their arm to escape the straight arm. You can be sure I'm ready to put it back under my knee pit. That's an easy one. So they have to keep going somewhere else so it's not straight. So they'll turn it over. Okay. Here's what we do from here. And this is a move I don't see everywhere. So I think like this would be a really nice one for you to know because not all your opponents are going to know it. I straighten my arm so that I can hit the bent arm. I go for this, but they straighten. I start to set this up and they say, oh, no, you don't. And they turn their arm over like this. So I do this. I reach over my leg and I hold their wrist behind my leg. I say, that's fine. If you're going to hide it down like this, I hold onto the wrist behind myself. So I'm here. And you can see actually from that angle, let me give you that angle for a moment. You can see from this angle that I have the wrist, I have like, I could pinch maybe even to keep it in here if I needed to, but I have the beginnings of what, if I could also include the head, which is the plan, of a triangle. Now I've got the head and arm trapped together. If only I could triangle my legs. So let's talk about how to do that because I think that people lose this in the how. They'll get the what? They'll get this. What's the move from here? Oh yeah, if I can hold the arm and catch the head. Oops, excuse me, buddy. Then I'm kind of in triangle position. But when they do this, people clear the head. They tend to be able to get their head free from there if you don't do this correctly. So I want to give you the good advice on that. After I catch their wrist here, the next move is to step over their head, and I want to aim with my heel for the base of their skull. Now, when I say my heel, I actually only want my heel on the floor. If I put my whole foot on the floor, I actually feel weaker at the place where I connect my heel. It feels like maybe more of my foot's on the floor, and I'm not doing this on purpose. It's sliding away from me a little bit because there's not a lot of weight in one point. So I'm trying to put a lot of weight in my heel. Also, not only so my leg doesn't kind of get lazy and slide, but also because my heel will be the digging implement that I will use to get underneath their head. Now, keeping your base while you do this is a matter of putting your forehead on the floor. So I'm going to put my forehead on the floor. That's leaning not this way to put my forehead on the floor because I don't bend that way, but over here. Boom, right across their body. And my heel digs. And then my weight can come off the bottom leg enough to cross my legs. Okay, a little too hard to cross now. But when I put my head on the floor and I dig this deep enough, I need enough of my foot to come through that it catches in my knee pit for the triangle. So this is a mounted triangle entry, sort of a backwards triangle or reverse triangle. Bent arm, straight arm, but then they turn it over. Okay, so I'll catch it between my legs, hold on to this here, and here's my finish. Holding onto their wrist here, I step over with my heel, my digging implement, my heel. So only my heel on the floor, not the whole deal. Heel, put my forehead on the floor, roll across it, and dig with my heel, cutting under their head, and then I should be able to catch this. Now, I'm not talking about mounted triangle the submission today. I'm talking about mounted triangle the position. Okay, so can you finish this triangle? Yes, not impossible. Not super easy either, though. What is super easy from this mounted triangle position, because his arm is so caught here, is attacking this arm now. Nothing protecting this arm. He can't see it well. His other arm sort of unable to connect. He's unable to connect his hands. So I'm going to, and if he does connect his hands, I mean, it's a very easy grip to break. But I have Americana, straight arm. He turns it over. I have Kimura on this arm. So I would honestly use the mounted triangle position for those other submissions. For submissions on this lonely arm, unprotected by his buddies, to be attacking that arm. Just because the mounted triangle is hard, reverse triangle. So last time, I'm going to grab the wrist, put it in here, bent arm, no such thing. He straightens. Straight arm, no such thing. He turns it over. That will not hurt a person. You can't Kimura a person this way. So instead, just hold their arm with your legs. Reach behind, grab the wrist. Okay. Now I'm going to lean across and put my forehead on the ground. Step over with my heel and dig with my heel. Not my whole foot, my heel. Under the head until I can cross. And once I cross, personally, I'll probably attack this arm. Okay, but maybe mounted triangle is your thing, and you'll be able to go for that reverse triangle there. Okay, time check. Let me see how I'm doing. I have showed the first series here, which is the bent arm lock series from Kazuri Kesagatame, or broken scarf hold. That's my goal tonight, was to show you these 3 moves. Let me show them to you as a chain. I'll do it 1 time with the dummy, 2 times without the dummy, just so that you can really see how to solo drill it with no dummy. Although I did tell you too in the beginning, if you want to rewind, if you're rewatching or if you're catching it live, the beginning I talk about how I made this very, very stupid, simple dummy. Okay, so I'm in Kazuri Kesagatame, which means I'm not holding just the head, but I'm actually on this side under the armpit. I pick up the elbow. Very important I get my leg under there so he can never get his arm back to the ground. So this arm is vulnerable. That's what begins this series. Grab the wrist, lean away so I get a stiff arm. Don't use strength. This is me. I assume I'm stronger than you. I assume you're strong. I respect you as a man or a woman doing jujitsu, okay? So I get the bent arm. First, I'm going to pick it up, put it in here. Bring this leg not in front but behind to block that wrist. And now get my hip off my hip onto my knee, lifts the elbow, pushes down the wrist. That's an Americana with the legs. If when I go for this, they straighten, then I step over. It's going to be inner thigh on the wrist, inner thigh at the elbow, which is sliding down a little bit. I was under the shoulder. And then I push down on the shoulder. So down on the shoulder, down on the wrist, up on the elbow. And that's just me rolling over the knife edge of my pinky toe. So these 2 go down, this one goes up. That's for the straight arm. If I go to push it down, but they straighten, and then I start to set this up, and they turn over, and they go like this to try and get away. It's okay. I'll pinch the upper arm, hold on to the wrist, put my forehead on the ground, put my heel over their head, and then dig with this. You're going to find it's uncomfortable for your person, their chin, depending which way they turn their chin. They might tap because you're cranking their neck. Most people should look in a direction that protects their own neck, but not everybody knows how. And we'll get into this mounted triangle position. Okay, so the whole thing without Orko. Some of you will know what that refers to. Without Orko, I'm doing it here. I have not the headlock, but I have underhook on the far side. This is Kazuri Kesagatame. Nice wide base. Pick up the elbow, get my leg underneath. Okay, from here, this is how to mime it. I'll do it twice. Grab the wrist, lean away, drive it in using that straight arm. Tuck it under your leg, all the way in your knee pit, and bring this leg in behind so that the person can't straighten. They run into something, and now you're gonna bring your hips up and your knee down. If somebody was crazy flexible, we have a bending mat and Bart at our school who are very flexible. So you might have to come up to your knee and drag your knee down the body. So I'm just dragging my knee down the body. That would be for somebody crazy flexible. You'd have to be very flexible to need to do that. Wrist. That's the bent arm. If they straightened when we got here, I step over and I'm going to get these ready to go, and this. Right, shoulder down, wrist down, elbow up. Arms don't bend that way. But if they put it in here, you put it in here, and you start to step over and they turn it all the way over, you can just pinch on the upper arm, grab the wrist behind yourself, step over the head, put your forehead on the ground, dig, cross. And now probably attack the other arm would be my order of operations. Okay, last time. Kazuri Kesagatame, wide base. Pick up the elbow, get that under there. Grab the wrist, stiff arm, stuff that in there. Bring my leg in, and won't take much to hit that bent arm for most people. So grab, straight arm, put it in there. But I start to do this, and they bring their arm straight. If that's the case, you step over. And you're going to go like this. Actually, bring this down a little bit. So you practice bringing this down, out from under the shoulder, down to the elbow. And that's how we're going to break that. Can't do the bent. Can't do the straight because they turn it over. So you're just going to, if that happens, you bring it here, and they turn it over. Just pinch the upper arm with your knees. Now you are pinching them together. To hold the upper arm, reach behind yourself, hold the wrist. Step over the head, heel only. Forehead to the ground, dig with your heel. You don't want to dig with a foot-shaped wedge. You want a triangle, and that's just my heel on the floor. Digging until I can cross, okay? And then I can sit up and start attacking that other arm. And that is probably the way I would go to finish that move. So that's it for today. Just the first of 2 series that I'm going to show you from Kazuri Kesagatami. And then I'm going to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves, and that'll be Saturday from Kesagatami. So Thursday, tune in for the second series from Kazuri Kesagatami, Broken Scarf Hold. And then we'll do some scarf hold stuff on Saturday morning. And all week long, you're going to be doing repping these moves during your workout of the day. So check out those 10-minute workouts of the day. It's like a little bit upper body, lower body, core, and cardio, and 1 jiu-jitsu move over and over and over. 10 minutes, good workout. And then, of course, tune into class. If you want to see everything all in one place that I've told you I would do tonight in combination with Thursday and Saturday, the Monday Brain Dump is where that happens. It's basically me shooting and editing an instructional DVD, my own instructional DVD with like edits and titling, and that's released on Mondays. That's there on YouTube, so check it out on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night. Katie's next with yoga, and come back at 8:30. We'll watch some instructionals together, and since it's about scarf hold and Kazuri Kesagatami, Broken Scarf Hold, I'll probably watch some instructionals on YouTube about those. So check those out with me at 8:30 on Zoom. The link is in the social channels. I'll see you guys there. Take care. Thank you, YouTubers, for checking it out. We'll see you soon. All right. Take care.